The sky was burning. Red fire clouds rolled over the battlefield like waves of blood. The ground shook under the sound of distant explosions. Captain Ryan Hale ran through the smoke, his armor cracked, his breath sharp and heavy. Around him, the war between humans and aliens had turned this planet into dust and ashes. He had only one mission left: survive. Ryan's communicator crackled with static. "All units retreat. The enemy is collapsing the ridge!" someone shouted. But Ryan could barely hear it. The blast from a plasma shell had thrown him far from his team. His vision was blurry, his leg bleeding, and every breath felt like glass inside his lungs. He stumbled through the wreckage looking for cover. That's when he heard it, a sound that didn't belong to the battlefield. It was a cry, soft, broken. Ryan froze. He raised his rifle and moved toward the sound. Behind a piece of destroyed alien machinery, he saw her, an alien girl lying on the ground, her body half covered in silver-blue blood. Her skin glowed faintly, her eyes bright like stars trapped behind glass. For a moment, Ryan couldn't move. She was the enemy, the thing they were told to destroy, the reason billions had died, but she was also crying. Her voice was weak, but her words clear. "You'll regret this. Human." Ryan lowered his rifle. He didn't understand why, but something in her tone stopped him. He looked at her again. Her wounds, her trembling hands, the strange glowing bracelet on her wrist. It pulsed like a heartbeat. "Stay still," Ryan said quietly, his voice rough. "I'm not going to hurt you," she laughed softly, bitterly. "Humans always say that before they do." He ignored her and tore open a medkit. The moment his glove touched her skin, the bracelet flashed. A bright blue light wrapped around his hand and burned through his armor. Ryan shouted in pain and pulled back, but the light didn't stop. It spread, crawling up his arm, glowing veins under his skin. Then, he heard voices, whispers, in a language he didn't know, yet somehow understood. Images flashed in his mind, cities made of crystal, children running under twin suns, and then fire, war, and screams. He fell back, gasping. What the hell was that? The girl looked at him with wide, scared eyes. "You touched the bond," she said weakly. "Now it's inside you." Ryan didn't know what she meant, but he felt it. A strange warmth in his chest, a rhythm not his own. The bracelet had connected them. Somehow they were linked. "Listen," Ryan said, shaking off the fear. "If I leave you here, you'll die. My people won't show mercy." She closed her eyes. "Then let me die. My kind would rather fade than be your prisoners." Ryan hesitated. He looked back at the smoke rising over the horizon. He remembered his orders, no alien survivors. But he also remembered the faces of the civilians his army had burned. He was tired of the killing. "Damn it," he muttered and lifted her onto his back. She was light. Too light. As he ran toward the human drop zone, alarms started beeping in his helmet. Enemy drones scanned the area. The girl's bracelet pulsed faster, reacting to them. "They're coming," she whispered. "You shouldn't have done this." "I've already done worse," Ryan replied. "Saving one life won't kill me." But he was wrong. The drones spotted them. Red lights locked onto his armor. Ryan fired back, his rifle blazing through the dark. Plasma bolts flew past him, burning holes in the ground. He dodged behind rocks, his breath short, the alien girl gripping his armor weakly. "Almost there," he said. "Just a few more steps." Then a blast hit nearby. A wave of fire threw him to the ground. He shielded the girl with his body. The heat burned his back, his armor melting at the edges. The bracelet glowed brighter than ever, protecting them with a thin blue field. When the fire faded, Ryan opened his eyes. The drones were gone. The air was still. The girl looked at him, her eyes glowing softer now. "Why did you save me?" she asked. Ryan didn't answer right away. He stared at the stars through the smoke. "Because maybe," he said quietly, "you're not my enemy." The alien girl's breathing slowed. She whispered something, words too faint for him to hear. Then her eyes closed, and the bracelet on her wrist began to hum softly. Almost like a heartbeat inside his own chest, Ryan felt it. The connection between them was alive. He didn't know it yet, but this choice out of saving her would change the fate of both their worlds. Far above them, hidden satellites turned their gaze toward the planet, sending silent messages to human command. And in the sky, one star flickered him as if warning what was coming next. The night was quiet now, too quiet for a battlefield. The fires had gone cold, leaving only smoke and silence. Captain Ryan Hale sat beside a broken wall, staring at the strange alien bracelet still glowing faintly on his wrist. He had brought the alien girl, Lyra, to an old bunker hidden beneath the ruins. She was unconscious, her breathing shallow, her silver-blue blood drying against the stone floor. Ryan didn't know what he was doing anymore. He was a soldier, not a savior, but something about her wouldn't let him walk away. He tried to pull the bracelet off. It didn't move. Instead, when his fingers touched it, he heard a whisper, soft, almost gentle, "Ryan." He froze. The voice wasn't from outside. It was inside his mind. He looked at Lyra. Her eyes were still closed, but he could hear her voice clearly. Not through sound, but through thought. "Don't be afraid," she whispered again. "The bond has linked us. I can hear you. You can hear me." Ryan's heart raced. He looked around the bunker, half expecting to see someone hiding.
"What did you do to me?"
he said aloud. Her lips moved slightly, though she didn't wake. "You touched my life seal. It connected our minds. When I feel pain, you will too. When I see something, you may see it as well." Ryan pressed his palms against his head. No, that's impossible. But it wasn't. Because suddenly he did see something. Flashes of memory that weren't his own. A city of silver towers under a sky with two suns. People like Lyra laughing, singing, and flying through light bridges made of crystal. Then a shadow covered the city. Human ships appeared, dark and massive, their weapons glowing red. The scene changed, explosions, screaming children, burning towers. Ryan gasped and stumbled back. His vision blurred. The smell of smoke and blood filled his senses. "Stop it," he shouted. "Get out of my head!" Lyra's eyes opened slowly. They glowed faintly in the darkness. "Now you've seen," she whispered. "Now you know what your kind has done." Ryan stared at her. "That's not possible. Humanity was told your people attacked first. You started the war." She shook her head weakly. "Your leaders lied. They wanted our energy, the heart crystals. They came to take, not to share." Ryan wanted to deny it, but deep down something in his gut told him she was telling the truth. He'd seen things during missions that never made sense. Alien civilians slaughtered, towns destroyed before any resistance was found. He turned away, clenching his fists. "If this bond means I can feel what you feel, then maybe I'll find the truth myself." Lyra looked at him carefully. "You won't like what you find." Outside, thunder rolled. Ryan checked the scanner on his wrist. Enemy drones were still sweeping the area. They couldn't stay here long. He moved closer to Lyra and wrapped a thermal sheet around her. "We need to move. I have a signal beacon nearby. It'll take us to my dropship," she frowned. "If your soldiers find me, they'll kill me." Ryan hesitated. He didn't have an answer. Then her voice echoed again inside his mind, soft, desperate. "If I die, the bond dies too. But not quietly. It will take you with it." Ryan blinked. "You're saying, yes," she whispered. "Our lives are connected now." He cursed under his breath. Saving her wasn't just mercy anymore, it was survival. They moved through the ruins carefully, avoiding the red scanning lights above. Ryan could feel her fear in his chest, quick, shallow, trembling. It wasn't his heartbeat anymore. It was hers. At one point, they hid behind an overturned tank. Lyra touched his arm weakly and whispered, "The humans are not just fighting us. They are preparing something far worse." "What do you mean?" Ryan asked. She pointed to the sky. "A weapon that can kill a sun. They call it Project Eclipse. When it fires, it won't just end my people. It will erase our worlds." Ryan frowned. "That sounds like a myth." She looked at him with sad eyes. "You'll see soon enough. The darkness has already begun." Before he could respond, his communicator beeped. "Human frequencies. Captain Hale, report your status." Ryan froze. The command center thought he was still alone. If they found out he was protecting an alien, it would mean execution. He pressed the comms button and spoke carefully. "Mission still in progress. Enemy presence confirmed. Continuing search." "Copy that," the voice said. "Return to base when secure." The signal ended. Ryan exhaled slowly. He turned to Lyra, who was watching him silently. "You can't go back to them," she said. "They'll find me. They'll kill us both." Ryan didn't answer. He was thinking. He remembered her memories. Those alien children screaming under the human bombardment. And now a weapon that could destroy a sun. It sounded insane. But the fear in her voice felt real. As they reached the edge of the ruins, Ryan saw the night sky opening above. dark and endless. His ship was hidden nearby under a camouflage net. He helped Lyra climb aboard, and as the engines hummed to life, her voice whispered one last time inside his head. "You can still stop it, Ryan, but you'll have to choose which species deserves to survive." The words echoed in his mind as the ship lifted into the black sky. He didn't know it yet, but the voice inside him wasn't just Lyra's. It was the beginning of humanity's darkest truth, and his greatest test. The stars outside the ship looked peaceful, but inside Captain Ryan Hale felt anything but peace. The alien girl, Lyra, lay in the co-pilot seat, her silver blue skin glowing faintly in the dim light. The strange bracelet on Ryan's wrist pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat. Every time she stirred, he felt it, a quick flash of her fear, her pain, her sadness. They had escaped the battlefield, but the war still followed them. Ryan guided the ship through the ruins of an old space station, hiding from patrol drones. He checked his console. His location beacon had gone silent, jammed by something. Maybe the army thought he was dead. Maybe that was better. Lyra opened her eyes slowly. "Where are we going?" she asked. "Home base," Ryan said. "I need answers," she shook her head weakly. "You won't find truth there, only lies," Ryan ignored her. His training screamed at him to report back, to complete the mission, to bring in any surviving alien technology. But a voice deep inside whispered something else. Don't let them find her. When they landed on the outskirts of the human colony on Titan Base, Ryan hid Lyra in the ship's storage compartment. "Stay here. Don't make a sound," he said. Lyra looked at him with tired eyes. "You're walking into their darkness, Ryan. Be careful." He didn't reply. He stepped into the cold metal hallways of Titan Base, the place that had once felt like home. Now it felt like a trap. As soon as he entered the command center, alarms flickered. The base scanners had detected the alien energy from the bracelet. Soldiers surrounded him instantly. "Captain Hale," said a deep voice, "you've returned with something interesting." It was Admiral Cross, tall, calm, and terrifying. His silver eyes reflected the screen lights as he approached Ryan. "You were reported missing after the last battle. Care to explain the artifact on your wrist?" Ryan's throat tightened. "Found it in the field, sir." Looked important. Cross studied him for a moment, then smiled coldly. "You have no idea how important it is." He gestured to the guards. "Take him to Lab 6. Ryan was led through the base into an underground facility he had never seen before. The air grew colder, the walls darker, the hum of machines deeper. Inside Lab 6, scientists worked around a massive energy core, glowing like a captured star. Cross stood beside the core, his hands behind his back. "You want the truth, Captain?" he said. "Here it is." He tapped a control panel and a giant holographic screen came to life. It showed a sun, not Earth's sun, but one smaller and redder, surrounded by alien planets. "This," Cross said proudly, "is Project Eclipse." Ryan frowned. "What is it?" Cross smiled. "The future. A weapon that can bend stellar energy. With it, we can end the war. One shot and their entire system burns." Ryan stepped back, his heart pounding. "That's genocide." "Genocide?" Cross repeated. "No, Captain. This is control. The aliens started this war when they refused to share their energy cores. We're only taking what's ours." Ryan clenched his fists. "You're planning to destroy an entire sun. You'll wipe out billions." Cross's voice turned quiet, almost gentle. "And yet, it will save trillions of human lives. Sometimes sacrifice is necessary." Ryan shook his head. "You're insane." The Admiral's eyes hardened. "You think I don't see what's happening to you, Captain? The alien girl's energy, it's in you now. The bracelet bonds you. But that's not a curse, it's a gift. We can use it." Ryan's stomach dropped. "Use it for what?" "To control the weapon," Cross said. "The bond energy inside you can power Eclipse. You'll help us fire it." Ryan's blood ran cold. "I won't." Cross turned away, smirking. "You will. Because if you don't, we'll find the alien you've been hiding. And when we do, I promise her death won't be quick." Ryan froze. He hadn't told anyone about Lyra. How did Cross know? "You're not the only one with eyes, Captain," Cross said softly. "The bond broadcasts signals. We've been tracking you since you entered orbit. The alien is somewhere nearby, and soon she'll be ours." Ryan lunged forward, but the guards restrained him. Cross leaned closer, whispering, "You're going to make history, Hale. The man who ended the alien race with a single touch. The lights flickered. Suddenly, the bracelet on Ryan's wrist glowed fiercely. The air around him vibrated, and he heard Lyra's voice in his head, louder than ever. "Ryan, they found me." "They're coming," he gasped. "Lyra." The scientist stepped back as the bracelet's energy spiked, projecting alien symbols across the walls. The symbols shifted, forming a shape, a burning sun splitting in half. Cross stared at it with fascination. "Beautiful," he whispered. "The key to the eclipse is alive." Ryan struggled against the guards, shouting, "Stop this! You don't understand what you're doing." Cross smiled coldly. "Oh, I understand perfectly. The age of humans as prey is over. Now we become the gods." And then Ryan heard another sound and an alarm echoing through the base. A red alert flashing on the screens. Unauthorized breach. Containment level 1. Cross turned sharply. "Find it! Find her!" Ryan's heart raced. Lyra was here. She had escaped. As the soldiers ran out of the room, Ryan looked at the bracelet again. It glowed brighter, pulsing like a heartbeat. Not his, not hers, but something greater. The voice inside whispered one more time. "Ryan, if they use that weapon, it won't just destroy my world. It will destroy yours too." Ryan knew then. Project Eclipse wasn't a weapon of war. It was a weapon of extinction, and he was standing in the center of it. The sirens screamed through Titan Base. Red lights flashed across the walls. Soldiers ran in panic, and the ground trembled under the sound of security doors locking down. Captain Ryan Hale stood frozen inside Lab 6, his heart pounding. Somewhere in the chaos, Lyra was running. The alien girl he had saved, the girl now hunted by every soldier on the base. Admiral Cross barked orders into his comm. "Seal all exits. I want the alien alive. The Project Eclipse launch window opens in 1 hour." Ryan clenched his fists. The bracelet on his wrist burned hot, reacting to Lyra's fear. He could feel her pain as if it were his own. Flashes of her running through smoke-filled corridors, her breathing fast. Her pulse wild, he whispered under his breath, "Hold on. Lyra, I'm coming." But before he could move, Cross turned toward him. "Not so fast, Captain." Ryan looked up. The Admiral's cold gray eyes studied him like a scientist studying a test subject. "You think you can hide your betrayal from me?" Cross said. "I've been watching you since the day you left that battlefield." Ryan's jaw tightened. "You knew I saved her." "Of course," Cross said calmly. "You were never off our grid. The moment that alien's bracelet bonded with you, we tracked every breath you took." He stepped closer, his voice lowering. "But I let you bring her here, Ryan. I wanted her here." Ryan frowned. "Why?" Cross smiled faintly. "Because we needed the final link. The weapon won't work without both of you, the human and the alien. The bond energy between your species is the key to activating the Eclipse core." Ryan took a step back, realizing the truth. "You used me." "Used you?" Cross laughed softly. "No, Captain. You fulfilled your purpose. You brought me the missing piece." The bracelet pulsed again, and Ryan heard Lyra's voice in his head. "Ryan, they're closing in." "Don't trust him." Ryan's eyes burned with anger. "You're insane, Cross. You're going to destroy everything, even Earth." Cross raised an eyebrow. "Do you really think I care about one planet when I can rule 1,000? You still don't understand. Humanity isn't fighting for survival anymore. We're fighting for dominance." Ryan's voice trembled with rage. "You're turning us into monsters." Cross leaned in, his face inches away. "Monsters win wars." He nodded to the guards. "Take him to the control room. It's time he witnesses what true power looks like." Ryan was dragged through the halls, soldiers gripping his arms tightly. As they moved, the bracelet's light grew stronger, flickering in sync with Lyra's presence nearby. He could feel her getting closer, though the corridors between them were filled with armed men. When they reached the control room, Ryan saw it, a massive window overlooking the Titan reactor. Inside the glowing chamber, the Eclipse core spun like a captured sun, its energy swirling in violent colors. Wires, machinery, and tubes connected it to the planet's power grid. And there, in the center of it all, Lyra. She was suspended inside a containment field, her arms bound by glowing restraints. Her body glowed faintly and her face was pale. She looked terrified. "Let her go!" Ryan shouted. Cross smiled from behind the glass. "I can't. Her energy stabilizes the core. Without her, the weapon collapses." Ryan slammed his fists against the glass. "You'll kill her!" "Yes," Cross said coldly. But first she'll help me end her own people. Ryan felt a burning heat spread through his chest. The bracelet's light turned from blue to fiery red. The bond between him and Lyra pulsed wildly, pushing back against the machines. Lyra looked up at him through the glass, her lips trembling. "Ryan," she whispered telepathically. "Don't let them use us, please." He nodded slowly, determination filling his eyes. "I won't." Cross pressed a command on his control pad. "Begin the charge sequence." The Eclipse core roared to life, spinning faster. The air crackled with energy. Scientists shouted numbers, lights flickered, and the sound of the reactor filled the room like thunder. Ryan felt his muscles tighten. His body was reacting to the core, or to Lyra. Maybe both. Then a memory flashed in his head. A conversation with Lyra in the ship. "If I die, the bond dies too, but not quietly." Ryan looked at Cross. "You can't control this power. You're going to destroy us all." Cross smirked. "That's a risk I'm willing to take." At that moment, the bracelet burned so hot that Ryan screamed. Energy exploded around him, knocking the guards backward. The lights shattered. The air turned white with light. When the glow faded, Ryan stood alone. The guards were unconscious. The glass wall cracked and the containment field flickered. He rushed toward the control panel, smashing buttons. Alarms blared. The field around Lyra broke and she fell to the floor, gasping for air. Ryan reached her side and helped her up. "Come on, we have to go." But Lyra shook her head weakly. "The core. It's unstable. If we leave it, it will explode. Then how do we stop it?" Her eyes glowed faintly. "We can't stop it. We can only redirect it." Behind them, Cross struggled to his feet, blood on his face. "You fool," he shouted. "You're ruining everything." Ryan turned to him, voice low and steady. "No, I'm saving what's left." He grabbed Lyra's hand. The bracelet pulsed between them, merging their energies. The room shook violently. The Eclipse core's glow began to bend inward as if responding to their bond. Cross screamed, "You don't know what you're doing." Ryan looked back once, his eyes blazing. "You're right, Admiral. But at least I'm not destroying the universe to find out." The walls burst into light as Ryan and Lyra vanished in a blinding flash, gone before the base alarms could finish counting down. Far above Titan, satellites recorded a silent explosion, not one of destruction, but of transformation, and for the first time in history, humanity's darkest secret had turned against itself. The world around Captain Ryan Hale had turned into chaos. The Titan base was burning, metal melting, alarms screaming, soldiers shouting in panic. Smoke filled the corridors and the floor shook under the power of the collapsing reactor. Somewhere deep inside the base, the Eclipse core screamed like a dying sun, its unstable energy tearing the place apart. Ryan half-dragged, half-carried Lyra through the falling debris. Her skin flickered with faint blue light, her steps weak but determined. "You shouldn't have come back for me," she whispered. Ryan gritted his teeth. "You saved me first. I'm just returning the favor." Behind them, an explosion ripped through the hallway, throwing both of them forward. Ryan covered Lyra with his body as fire rolled past them. His armor cracked and his back burned with pain. When the flames cleared, he coughed through the smoke and looked at her. "Can you move?" Lyra nodded weakly. "Yes, but the core, well, it's still building power. If we don't stop it, it'll destroy the entire moon." Ryan glanced down at the bracelet glowing on his wrist. "We can't stop it, but maybe we can outrun it." They ran through the ruins, dodging falling pipes and sparks. Every step echoed through the dying base. Lyra's glowing bracelet lit the path ahead like a beacon in the dark. Finally, they reached the hangar, or what was left of it. The metal roof had collapsed halfway, ships lay shattered, and fire burned everywhere. In the center stood Ryan's old scout ship, somehow still intact. Ryan helped Lyra climb inside while he powered the engines. The console flickered with red warnings. "She's not in good shape," he muttered. "But she'll fly." Lyra closed her eyes, pressing her glowing hand to the control panel. The screens flickered, then stabilized. The engines roared to life. Ryan looked at her in surprise. "What did you do?" "Your ship listens to metal," she said softly. "Mine listens to light. I just made them understand each other." Ryan smiled faintly. "Remind me never to doubt alien magic again." They lifted off just as the base exploded below them. The shockwave hit the ship hard, tossing it into space like a leaf in a storm. Ryan fought the controls, the stars spinning outside the windows. Lyra gripped the seat, her eyes glowing brighter as she channeled her energy into stabilizing the ship. "Hold on," Ryan shouted. The ship broke through the explosion's fireball, emerging into the black void of space. Behind them, the moon cracked apart, glowing chunks of rock drifting like dying embers. Ryan stared at the destruction in silence. "All those people?" Lyra's voice was quiet. "The weapon was never meant to save anyone. It was built to erase." He turned to her. "What do you mean?" She touched the bracelet on his wrist. "Project Eclipse doesn't just destroy stars. It feeds on them, collects their energy to make your people stronger. They plan to use it again, on my world next." Ryan's stomach turned. "You're saying Earth's leaders are planning to burn your son?" Lyra nodded slowly. "Yes, and after mine, they'll move on to the next. And the next. Until every world with life is gone." For a moment, there was only silence. The hum of the ship, the slow breathing of two people caught between guilt and survival. Ryan leaned back in his seat, running a hand through his hair. "They told us we were saving humanity, that the aliens wanted to wipe us out." Lyra looked at him sadly. "They lied to you, Ryan, they always have." Her voice trembled as she added, "My people didn't come to conquer. We came to warn you. The energy your scientists call eclipse power is not yours to use. It's part of the living fabric of the stars. If you take too much, the universe begins to die." Ryan stared out the window, his mind spinning. "Then we have to stop them." Lyra's eyes widened. "You'd go against your own people?" He looked at her and nodded. "If saving them means destroying everything else, then yes." Before Lyra could reply, the ship's radar beeped loudly. Ryan checked the screen. Dozens of red blips appeared. "Human warships," he said. "They're coming." A voice crackled through the radio. "Captain Hale, this is Command Ship Orion. You are ordered to surrender immediately. You are carrying classified enemy property. Failure to comply will result in termination." Ryan smirked bitterly. "Property? That's how they see her." He switched the radio off. "Hold tight." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "What are you doing?" Ryan's fingers flew across the controls. "Something stupid." He pushed the throttle to maximum. The engines screamed and the stars stretched into lines as the ship jumped into high-speed flight. The warships opened fire, blue beams slicing through space. Explosions bloomed around them like deadly flowers. The ship shook violently, alarms blaring. Lyra placed her hands on the controls, channeling energy through the system. A shimmering shield of light surrounded the hull, deflecting incoming fire. Ryan shouted, "Nice trick." Lyra smiled faintly. "It won't last long." They weaved between the blasts, their ship spinning through fire and debris. For a moment, Ryan thought they might make it, until one beam struck the rear engine. The ship lurched, alarm screaming again. "We've lost propulsion," Ryan yelled. Lyra's voice came through the chaos, calm but strained. "I can fix it, but I'll need your help." "How?" "Trust the bond," she said, placing her glowing hand over his. Ryan hesitated for a heartbeat, then pressed his palm against hers. Instantly, the bracelet flared with light, and the ship responded, engines reigniting with pure energy, brighter than any human design. They blasted through the last wave of enemy fire, escaping into the dark. When the silence returned, Ryan looked at her, breathless. "You saved us again," Lyra smiled weakly. "We saved each other." But before he could answer, the ship's navigation system beeped. A new signal flashing on the screen. A massive energy reading ahead, spreading across the galaxy like a wound in space. Ryan frowned. "What is that?" Lyra's face turned pale. "That's not a planet. That's the weapon." Ryan stared at her. "Project Eclipse?" She nodded. "They've already aimed it at my world." Outside the window, a distant sun began to flicker, as if someone had reached into the heavens and started to pull its light away. Ryan's eyes darkened. "Then we stop it. Or humanity burns with it." And for the first time, both human and alien stared into the same fire, knowing the war was no longer about victory, but survival. The stars had turned red. From the cockpit of his damaged ship, Captain Ryan Hale stared at the impossible sight before him, a dying sun. It was bleeding light, its golden fire twisting into a dark spiral that reached deep into space. Around it, enormous human warships floated like vultures, their cannons locked on the burning star. Beside him, Lyra sat silently, her glowing eyes filled with pain. They've started the charge, she whispered. Project Eclipse is feeding on the sun's heart. Ryan's chest tightened. The bracelet on his wrist pulsed faster, burning hotter with every heartbeat. Through the bond, he could feel Lyra's sorrow like it was his own. Her world, her people, would be the next to vanish. How long before it fires? Ryan asked, his voice steady but his hands shaking on the controls. Lyra closed her eyes. Minutes. Once the sun collapses, it'll release a wave strong enough to burn every planet in the system. Ryan slammed his fist against the console. There has to be a way to stop it. Lyra turned to him, her voice trembling. There is one way, but you won't like it. He looked at her sharply. Tell me. She took a deep breath. The weapon draws power from both of us, from our bond. That's why Cross wanted you alive. You carry the human half of the energy link, and I carry the alien half. If we destroy the link, the weapon dies. Ryan frowned. Destroy the link? You mean destroy us? Lyra nodded slowly.
Yes.